music. He's like love, 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 and music. La la la, love, 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 and music. Love, love.
Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jaylee. This is Jaylee's Corner. It is late. It's around 2:30 in the morning. It's currently, what is it, Wednesday? It is the 11th. I just finished doing a little gossip review. Today's lipstick is Taraji P. Henson's Viva La Glam. It is a MAC lipstick that I have had for like a year. And I threw it on to do something real quick, and I was about to go to bed, and someone else had asked me about different story times. And so I said, okay. And then I said, well, before I go to bed with my hair looking all messy and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm not going to call it a story time. You know, you see from the title what I'm talking about. So you know it is what it is. But people have asked me like, oh yeah, you should want about, you know, how to like kind of move forward or move on when, you know, you lose a parent. So I've been talking to my mom like, I'm gonna do it, I just don't know when. I'm gonna have to get the feeling to just do it and just do it out the blue. So I got the feeling to do it today at 2:30 in the morning. So, you know, I know I look crazy, but it is what it is. And I know this is an inappropriate shirt for the topic, but I'm not gonna change shirts. My dad know I'm petty, and he knows petty before he passed away, and I'm petty now. So my father passed away in 2015, and he passed away suddenly. He wasn't sick or anything like that. He just had a massive heart attack one Sunday afternoon after church. And, you know, it was in 2015, so it's been 3 years. I think the initial shock of losing a parent, you are in a full haze of, is this real? You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of first part that you kind of have to deal with. And, you know, nothing no one says kind of gets through. Like, I remember talking to people, but I have no idea what we talked about. I remember people calling me. I have no idea what anyone said to me at that time. When that day, he had called me that day or whatever. My nephew, you know, my mom was at the house. My sister was. My nephew was there. I think either he called me or my nephew called me. Him and my nephew called me over the phone. And because we talk, I talk to my dad every day or whatever. And, you know, we chit-chatted for a good minute. He was, you know, in the den watching television and stuff. And we talked for, you know, as we usually do. And then he's like, all right, you know, like, all right, Dad, you know, I'll talk to you later. Like, all right, honey, love you. Like we always do. And then, like, my sister called a few hours later. And she was like, something's wrong. He's passed out. He's not breathing or something. And I was like, what? What? You know, what? It's like, we think he had a heart attack, you know, we waiting for the ambulance to get here or whatever. So I'm like, okay. So I'm slowly but quickly getting dressed. I think I was slowly getting dressed because I felt discombobulated or whatever. But I was quickly getting dressed because I was panicking. And I remember calling my brother, who stays he stays in Illinois. And I think I called him like twice or something like that. Because sometimes, you know, people just don't answer their phone the first time or whatever. Because we never answer our phones really. And so I remember calling my brother and saying, you know, something's wrong. You know, he's not breathing or whatever. I don't know anything. And I'm going to call you back when I get to the house or when I get to the hospital. I'll let you know whatever. And he calmly but panicky in the same thing said, all right, we'll call me back as soon as you can. Cool. You know, drove to the house. When I got to my mom's house, they weren't there, so I went to the hospital, whatever. And, you know, the whole family was there. And we didn't know what happened. You know, we knew it was a heart attack. We basically knew we didn't know what happened. We didn't. You know what I'm saying? I think the paramedics may have told my mom, my sister, they think it's a heart attack, and they took them to the hospital, whatever. And we were there. I mean, I don't even think it was an hour. I don't. And the doctor came in, and he was like, did anybody, because, my mom, my sister, my nephew, aunts, uncles, so my brother, my father has brothers and sisters. We are a very, very large family. And I remember the doctor just saying, didn't he want to tell you anything? Didn't he want to explain anything? And we were like, no. And, he was like, well, unfortunately, he said he had a massive heart attack. And when he said unfortunately, and then when he said unfortunately, we couldn't do anything, he passed away. I don't remember much. I remember screaming. I remember everyone screamed, because I don't think any of us expected that to be the outcome or whatever. So I remember screaming. I had my brother on the phone or whatever. I think I just kept on saying, like, come home or something like that. And so that initial shock, like, it takes your breath away. And it was an out-of-body experience. It really, really was. Because who wakes up one day and loses a parent? You just don't think that would happen. I'm sorry, y'all. So I said I was gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it. So I hope y'all can just bear with me. So I don't remember much after that. I know I called, like, my best friend. I called Karla. I called my cousin Nay. And, we called family and everything. And that was just the initial thing of, you're in shock. You don't know, am my battery low? You don't realize that you're going to feel numb, and you're in this fog and this haze. And I remember being in that fog and that haze for months. What we do now, we call our life a new normal, meaning eventually we had to get back to, our regular life. We had to get back to work, our life or whatever. We couldn't just kind of just stay secluded. And so we call our life now a new normal. And I think the way that I have dealt with the death of my father is, I just felt like he was at peace. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dad was a cool cat, okay? He was funny. He had a loud laugh. He was in his 50s. My dad wasn't that old. And he lived a good life. He made an impression on me and my siblings. Him and my mom were married for damn near 30 years. That my mom and my dad had been together since I was in the first grade. And he was just he was a great dad. Of course we had issues over the years because I was a crazy teenager. So, they had to discipline me and stuff. So I would get mad or whatever. But for the most part, he was a great dad. And after he passed away, I just had to literally, when I have like little crying moments or little I'm sad moments, I breathe through it. So the thing that I tell people who have lost a parent, I say you have to breathe through the grief. Because you have these moments where you just can't breathe. And it can come on. I've been at work, like at my desk, and just had this overwhelming feeling of just loss. And now I have to get up from my desk, like go into the bathroom and just breathe it out or whatever. Or I can be on my way to work. I can be I can be doing anything. I can be asleep and I can just wake up and it just takes my breath away. So you never get over it. you don't. You are able to move, day by day. It's a day by day situation, an hour by hour, minute by minute, month by month situation. And I remember not wanting to, like, after the fact I stayed at my parents' house for like 3 weeks. I didn't want to go home because going home was weird, because I would have to go home and really accept that he was gone. And I didn't want my mom to be in the house by herself, and her and my dad been together for so long. So that was tough. But you won't get over it. But it's honestly a thing that people don't realize when it happens is it does get better. It doesn't mean that you'll get over it. It doesn't mean that you'll have it means you'll have good days and bad days. And losing my dad at 32, I was 33. I'm 36, Lord Jesus. It was just as hard as if I was 5. Or, I don't think there's any age where it's easy to lose your parent. My mom lost her dad, my grandfather, the year before. My grandfather passed away, also in February of 2014. And my dad died in February of 2015. So we lost my granddad and my father a year apart. And my grandfather lived to be 94. So even at 94, my mother still took it hard. And we all have these moments of just reflection and of grief and of happy times and sad times. And, I say the way to move forward is to not ignore your pain, not to ignore your grief. It's okay to cry. You know what I'm saying? That's perfectly okay. Crying does not make you weak. Crying does not make you... You're a human being, it's a loss of a life. So I always suggest to people to let your grief out. Don't be afraid to grieve, but also not only that, to not be afraid to grieve. Don't be afraid to move on from the grief process. Moving on from the grief process doesn't mean that you miss the person any less. It just means you're not stuck in that place of just total disbelief where you can't move, you can't breathe, you can't function. You can't stop your life when someone passes away. And I remember me and my mom having a conversation the week before my dad passed away, because we were talking about my grandfather would pass away the year before, and it was like his anniversary of him passing away. And I said, like, if I ever lost you or father, like, someone would just have to put me in a mental institution and just lock the key, just lock me up, because I'm going to go insane. I would not be able to function. Like, I'm going to be a complete Looney Tune. And when my dad passed away, initially I was like, I cried every day. I'm able to speak about him now and not instantly start crying. That wasn't the case before. I remember I made a video a few months after he passed away to capture my grief and how I was. I made a video a year later, and I feel like each year, and this is I've done one each year, so this is my 3rd video that I've done. So each year gets a little bit easier to talk about it each year, and that's something else. You have to talk about it. You can't lock it away and act like it never happened. You can't just, it's okay, because if you lock it up and you don't talk about it, the feelings get repressed, and then eventually you gonna fucking go crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I openly talk about losing my dad. I never want to be so wound up from holding it in that it messes me up in some sort of way. And I find comfort that my dad knew me. He knew his daughter was talented. He knew I could write. I think he just knew my mind is special. Even how I do my videos, it is still a form of writing. And I think like the last conversation we had, well, not one of the last, but one of the last ones we had, because I wasn't working, and I was like chilling. Like I wasn't trying to work. I had money saved up. I was good. I was gonna like not work for the winter, but I was bored. And I'm like, Dad, I'm just so bored. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just so fucking bored. I didn't cuss. I said, I'm just so bored. I don't cuss in front of my parents. And he said, go write. Go be creative. You're creative. Your mind works in different ways. You know, the way you come up with stories, the way you write, the way you think. Go write. And I'm like, you know what, you right. I need to do that. And so I think I'm lucky enough to where he was here long enough to see that I had talent. You know what I'm saying? And just kind of know, okay, my daughter's going to be okay. She was a crazy teenager. You know, she would steal cars from us. You know, she would steal our cars and drive around and deal with boys, you know, and all this foolishness or whatever. But my dad knew me. And I think that's what makes it easier to move forward. It's because we had a good relationship. And he loved me and I loved him, and he knew that. And, you know, so people come and say, you know, you can talk about, you know, how you were able to get over your father's death. I haven't got over it. But it's my new normal. So I basically I'm able to live with it. And I'm not a sad person. I'm not like walking around every day just grief stricken. You know, it's not that. I'm okay. You know what I'm saying? However, you'll never get over your parents passing away. You never get over losing any family member, especially a parent or a child. You know, you just don't get over that. You're just able to live this new normal. And that's the life that I live now. I live a new normal where every day I remember, oh, you know, yeah, your father's gone, but however he is watching over you, or however he, you know, it's a new normal, you know? And so, yeah, but I'm okay. You know, 3 years later, I'm okay. My mom is okay. My siblings are okay. His siblings are okay. We all have our moments where we, of course, miss them. Like, being okay doesn't mean you don't miss the person. But we're all okay. In the aspect of we eventually were able to move on. You know what I'm saying? We were able to keep going. We were able to still stay a close, tight-knit family. It also made us closer in many ways. It was the first it was the first death for me that made death real. Like, you know how you know death is real? I've lost grandparents. I've lost cousins, aunts, uncles, a couple of friends. I think the first funeral I went to, I was in the 5th grade, and my uncle Charlie passed away, and that was the first like dead body I saw. And even being that young, I don't think death became really real until my dad passed away. And that reminded me, girl, death ain't no joke. You know what I'm saying? It's a weird thing to be like, oh, even though my grandfather died the year before, you know, because I took my grandfather's death hard. Like, oh my God, so hard. I remember sitting in my car leaving work when they called me, told me he had passed away because I couldn't get out of the hospital. I cried for like 30 minutes just sitting in my car. And granddaddy was 94. You know what I'm saying? My granddad lived he lived a long, great life. And even as hard as my grandfather's death was, my father's death, bitch, oh my God. I mean, oh my God, it was just crazy. So I guess that's what I would say. You never really get over it. You are able to move forward and you keep the memory alive. That's a picture of my parents there. And then that's a picture of me and my dad. That's a picture of me and my dad on my 21st birthday. You know, that picture frame is like of me and my best friends, me and my mom and my dad. Like, that's the whole picture frame. Even this picture, drawn. My brother drew that. So I always have remnants of my close knit around me in my corner. You know what I'm saying? My mom helped me pick out these these curtains. My mom bought me the J Lee's Corner little sign. She bought me the whiskey stuff, the whiskey stuff too. So yeah, keep your family close. You know what I'm saying? And if you do lose a parent or you do lose a loved one, just know that it does get better. It does get easier. The love is always there. And you have to remember that you are living a new normal life. And new normal just means it's new because you're missing a piece of you. You're missing a piece of you, but you have to go forward. You can't stay stuck in that grief, because grief can turn into depression, and depression can turn into something that you don't want it to be. And I feel like if my father was alive, he would be proud of me. So let me start. Look, y'all done seen me laugh and joke, and now y'all done seen me cry. So I hope in one way or another this was not too sad for anyone. I hope you all can get the point of me doing this, just so that you can see someone lost a parent, and y'all see me every day. I'm happy, I'm lively, I'm able to be who I am. But today, I cried too. I'm only human, but I was able to keep moving forward even with the death of my parent. And God forbid if it ever happens to you or whatever, you'll be able to move forward. Just keep family first, keep God first, and allow yourself the time to grieve. And when you come out of that haze of what happened, make sure to keep putting one foot in front of the other. So that's it for you guys, for me today. I am J Lee. This is J Lee's Corner. Peace.